Good evening and welcome to TV16 News. Today is Tuesday, September 18th, 2007. I'm Adam Brewer.
And I'm Audra Floyd. Coming up, Harding University students prepare to invade the community with Bisons for Christ.
And Harding University's College of Pharmacy is teaming up with one of the nation's top academies.
But first, let's get a quick check of our weather with Stephen Goodell. Stephen?
Well, if you've stepped outside lately, you noticed the cool, nice weather, but it's warming up and it will continue to warm up the next couple of days, and I'll tell you why that is ahead in my weather. But first, I want to take a look at the evening planner for tonight. By 6 p.m., expect temperatures in the low to mid-80s, then coming down to the mid-70s by 9 p.m. So if you're heading out to open house on the girls' side of campus tonight or back to the intramural fields, nice night to do so. You won't need an umbrella. Then by curfew tonight, dipping into the upper 60s with mostly clear skies. We'll have details on how long this weather will stick around and what's causing it as your News at 5 starts right now.
Tomorrow is the second Bisons for Christ at Harding University. Last year, over 1,000 students attended this day of service and helped many people in the White County area. Tomorrow, from 3 to 6 p.m., students are to help those in need, from fixing things in homes to reading to young children. Bisons for Christ is meant to be a great way to serve the surrounding communities.
Harding University's College of Pharmacy has announced a cooperative research and development agreement with the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado. Kenneth Yates, chair of the Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, says that he is pleased that the program will incorporate student research opportunities for both Harding undergraduates and Academy cadets. Daniel Atchley, who recently joined the college from the Air Force Academy, will oversee the research that explores novel methodologies for medical field diagnostics. The College of Pharmacy will offer a 4-year program of study leading to the Doctor of Pharmacy degree. Harding's projected entry date for the first class of students is fall of 2008.
Police are searching for an Arkadelphia couple accused of animal cruelty. More than 90 dogs, cats, and birds were found abandoned in a U-Haul in Little Rock on Sunday. Johnny and Sharon Maynard failed to appear in court Monday morning on 172 animal cruelty charges. The animals are all safe and sound at the Little Rock Animal Shelter. There's a warrant out for the Maynards' arrest since they missed their court appearance. If you are interested in adopting any of the animals, adoptions will be held from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday at the Little Rock Animal Village and Education Center in Little Rock.
Good news for the grocery seller Kroger Company this evening. The company says its earnings rose 28% in the most recent quarter, helped by higher sales at established stores. The Cincinnati-based grocer is also boosting its profit forecast for the full year. Kroger has a number of Arkansas stores. Of course, it competes with Bentonville-based Walmart, the nation's largest grocery seller.
Arkansas State Police send a letter asking for permission to arrest those suspected of illegal immigration. State Police Director Colonel Winford Phillips informed a legislative hearing that last week State Police sent a letter to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The director neglected to mention why, but saying that the questions concerning the issue will be answered later. The move comes from more than 2 years after the legislature voted to authorize state police graduates for an 8-week immigration and customs enforcement course to make the arrest during interstate highway traffic stops. Phillips says most of the time the federal agents tell troopers to release the suspects after getting their names. A spokesman for Governor Beebe says that he has spoken with Phillips on the issue, but has not released an immediate comment.
A possible proposal on the 2008 constitutional ballot this fall could help raise millions for college scholarships. Lieutenant Governor Bill Halter's idea to create a state-run lottery could help many students wanting to further their education at a state or private college. Halter plans to submit the proposed constitutional amendment to Attorney General Dustin McDaniel for approval. If the amendment is approved, Halter will need to gather about 78,000 signatures to place the item on the November 2008 ballot. Coming up, a college student is tasered and arrested at a campus forum for Senator John Kerry.
And good news for the American economy tonight. What has stocks on the rise? Coming up next.
This is really happening. She's going away to college. But I've never seen her this excited and at ease. We've looked at so many options. She fits here. This is right. It's so hard to let go. It is easier when I see so many good people and programs around her. I believe we're in the right place for her. For us.
You and I haven't shaken hands yet. We've never chatted at a party. Our kids play different sports.
But I can honestly say, without ever having met you,
I'll help save your life.
When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
A University of Florida student tasered at a campus forum for Senator John Kerry has been released this evening.
Campus police tasered 21-year-old Andrew Meyer after he loudly and repeatedly tried to ask the senator questions. Videos of the Monday night incident show officers pulling Meyer away from the microphone after he asked Kerry about impeaching President Bush and whether he and Bush were both members of the secret society Skull and Bones at Yale University. University spokesman Steve Orlando says Meyer was asked to leave the microphone after his allotted time was up. He was arrested on charges of resisting an officer and disturbing the peace, but the state attorney's office has yet to make the formal charging decision.
Former football star O.J. Simpson could be facing more charges. Las Vegas prosecutors say they are considering charging Simpson with kidnapping and coercion, in addition to the charges he already faces in connection with an armed robbery of a Las Vegas hotel room. Simpson is being held without bail in a Las Vegas detention center and is expected to appear in court Wednesday morning, when charges are likely to be filed. Meanwhile, today, a judge denied the latest effort of Fred Goldman, the father of Ron Goldman, to take Simpson's earnings. The Goldman family was seeking ownership of the sports memorabilia Simpson is accused of robbing for themselves.
For the first time in 4 years, the Federal Reserve has cut key interest rates. The central bank cut its key federal funds rate from 5.25% to 4.75%. The Fed also cut the discount rate for the second time in a little over the month, lowering the largely symbolic rate by a half percentage point. The two cuts were larger than most Fed watchers had expected. Today's decision seemed to reassure investors that the central bank will do what it can to protect the economy from falling into a recession. Investors are already seeing results from Wall Street. According to the early tallies, the Dow Jones and NASDAQ jumped nearly 3%.
Government ministers Tuesday backed the Iraqi Interior Ministry's decision to shut down Blackwater USA's operations in Iraq. This decision comes after the American security firm was involved in a Baghdad firefight that authorities say killed 8 civilians. A spokesman says the ministers also stressed the need to ensure foreign security firms operate within Iraqi laws. It is unclear if the shutdown is permanent, and the Interior Ministry has put no time frame on the ban of Blackwater operations. A spokesman says the ban will remain in effect while the incident is investigated.
A powerful typhoon targeting eastern China has prompted the evacuation of nearly 2 million people. Typhoon Wifa is expected to be the most powerful storm to hit China in decades. The edge of the storm hit northern Taiwan, where schools, offices, and the stock market closed. Taiwan's Disaster Relief Center says a construction worker was killed when the storm winds knocked down the scaffolding. So far, the typhoon has produced wind gusts of 165 miles per hour and waves up to 36 feet high.
All right, Stephen. Well, it started to cool down a little bit this weekend. It's starting to feel a little bit more like fall. Are things going to keep cooling down, or what's the temperatures look like?
Well, we're in a gradual warming trend, and of course for tomorrow it's just going to be great weather. You might even want to bring a little bit of water if you go out and are going to be doing any strenuous yard work. but just looks very, very nice as some high pressures built in, and it'll just essentially stay there for the next couple of days. Let's take a look, though, at the almanac now. Today's high temperature, 91 degrees. We've been enjoying very, very cool mornings, but warming up very nicely in the afternoon. I'll tell you why that's happening and how long it'll stick around on the other side of this break.
I remember being here for the first time. I've learned a lot since then. I'm stronger now in what I understand and believe. In 4 years, I've traveled, seen things, had the chance to study, live, or work on 5 continents. I'd never even been away from home before. The world is much bigger and more real than it was, and I'm better prepared for it and everything in it than I ever thought I could be.
May I have your attention, please? Would the owner of the spare tire, slightly hairy, with a little brown mole to the left of the belly button, it's an innie, please report to the press box and retrieve your appendage. Well, they must have lost this parking further away from the stadium and walking in. Okay, we're back to the action.
Welcome everybody back to Live at 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at current conditions now at this 5 p.m. hour. 87 here in Searcy with partly cloudy skies and 63% humidity with winds out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. Taking a look at temperatures statewide now, 85 in Fayetteville, 89 in Fort Smith, 88 down in Hot Springs and Little Rock, and 88 also being reported in Jonesboro this hour. So taking a look at the weather in our headline form now, a warming trend will continue the next couple of days. Your Bisons for Christ looking very warm and dry. You might even want to bring a little water outside as temperatures could reach 90 degrees tomorrow. And no rain in the immediate future. Some rain expected towards the end of the weekend. We'll detail that in the 7th day in just a moment. But looking at the surface map, a broad area of high pressure covering almost half of the country is just stalled out and is in between a couple of stalled out fronts. A cold front to the west of this high pressure system will possibly move its way into northwest Arkansas, but will make its way nowhere near us, and we'll just have us with nice dry conditions and fair weather conditions. As you can see, the spotty clouds, those are high fair weather clouds, and here's the tail end of that cold front that'll just basically stick around for the next 4 or 5 days. And here's a look at the tropics, and the only thing we're watching right now is an area of likely development off the coast of Florida, which could move into the Gulf by midweek and cause problems for those of eastern Texas and western Louisiana, but we'll keep our eye on that and let you know as things develop. So for tonight, expect temperatures in the low to mid 60s with mostly clear and cool conditions. Then by tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 80s. Even some low 90s could be reported with mostly sunny skies, warm and less humid with light southeast breeze from 5 to 10. So tomorrow gets 10 stars, and I think a couple of days this week could get 10 stars as temperatures will just be very nice with no rain in sight. So taking a look at the 5-day forecast now, a warming trend over the next 4 days and into your Saturday with temperatures topping out in the mid-90s, but then coming down on Sunday to 87 degrees with cool conditions in the morning, just warming up very nicely. Guys, it's going to be a great week.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. Coming up, just how much time do drivers spend in traffic? A new study tells us the latest numbers.
Also, I'll give you the latest Gulf South Conference news and a preview of tonight's Lady Bisons volleyball game.
Spiritually, intellectually, academically, this is truly a special place. There are more National Merit Scholars here than in any other private college in the state. These students are remarkable, learning, growing. They're all so well-rounded. We're so proud of them. When they leave, they'll be ready. They will be prepared.
To save your life. A place where someone you never knew will save your child from drowning. where someone will give you food and shelter after a flood. That place is called America, where we look out for each other. When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
So, Jace, I hear the volleyball team opens up their conference play tonight.
Audra, they do open up their conference play tonight.
Great.
The Harding University volleyball team will open their Gulf South Conference play tonight as they travel to Magnolia to take on Southern Arkansas University. The Lady Bisons are heavy favorites tonight as they come in with two of their players leading major categories, with junior Manuela Nesheva leading the conference with 5.5 kills per game and .76 service aces per game. And junior Leah Tepe leads the conference with 13.2 assists per game. Their game tonight will be at Magnolia at 7 o'clock. The men's soccer team kept their home unbeaten record intact last Friday as they hosted Texas College with a convincing 3-1 victory. Junior Carter Truax scored 2 of the 3 goals, and freshman Eric Swerse scored the other goal of the game. That game was also the Bison's second straight win. The Bison soccer team heads to Clarksville today to play University of the Ozarks at 4 o'clock, and that game will be the first of their next 5 away games. And the Lady Bison soccer team played against Southwestern Oklahoma State as they won, posting their first shutout of the season as they win 3-0. Freshman Kara Lecoq scored her first career goal in the 31st minute of that game, and senior Kendall Washburn continued her scoring ways as she scored twice in that game. Washburn leads the team this year in goals with 7. The Lady Bison's next game will be this Friday as they host Texas Women's University at 7 o'clock. The Harding University football team opened their Gulf South Conference play last week as they lost to third-ranked North Alabama. Junior quarterback David Knighton posted career high for completions as he went 35 for 51 and passed for 327 yards and threw 2 touchdowns. He also is now the 5th quarterback in Bison history to throw for 30 career touchdowns. Senior Ardell Briggs also caught 8 of those passes for 107 yards. The Bison football team will face off against Arkansas Monticello Saturday at 6 p.m., and that game will be in Monticello. In the latest Gulf South Conference news, both head coaches from Delta State University and Henderson State University have been suspended for next week's games after a post-game brawl that broke out after their game Saturday. A statement has been released from GSC Commissioner Nate Sallant. He says, "It is quite clear that the post-game meeting between the two head coaches rapidly devolved into something unprofessional, confrontational, and irresponsible that led to what has been described by eyewitnesses and the media as a brawl involving many players on both teams. There is no doubt that both head coaches lost control of themselves and that their teams followed suit. There was no reason for this to happen after a hard-fought and well-played game, and no evidence that anything would have happened and the coaches had not had the confrontation." GSC has also released that this week's games of the week will be Henderson State University versus University of West Alabama on Thursday, and the other game of the week will be Saturday as Valdosta State University takes on Arkansas Tech University, and both of those games will be on TV 16. So a lot of stuff going on here in the sports world lately. Wow. You know, with the volleyball team opening up their conference play and the men's soccer team still staying unbeaten at home right now.
Right. All right, we're looking forward to seeing them.
Definitely.
Very exciting.
Drivers waste nearly an entire work week each year sitting in traffic on the way to and from their jobs. According to a national study released today, the nation's drivers sat in traffic delays for more than 4 billion hours in 2005, according to the Texas Traffic Institute's Urban Mobility Report. The Los Angeles metro area had the worst congestion, delaying drivers an average of 72 hours a year. It was followed by Atlanta, San Francisco, Washington, and Dallas. The least congested metro areas were Spokane, Washington, and Brownsville, Texas, where drivers were delayed an average of 8 hours a year. Thanks for joining us tonight on Live at 5. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for more local news, sports, and weather.
From all of us here at TV 16, have a great night.